live stream or the replay if you are watching this after the fact it was live. I have such a habit of saying welcome to the live stream because I do these every week in my membership. Anyways, we're going to get into the transits of eclipse week, the first eclipse of 2025, the week of March 10th. This is the week that I feel like everything is really going to change majorly, and it's stuff we've already kind of been sitting with or knowing that is changing or needs to change, and maybe things have felt stagnant around because we have the Venus retrograde, we have Mercury starting to station retrograde this week on top of Venus. So things are really at this point where it's like, okay, we're kind of like stopped in the moment of like, okay, what do we need to change to move forward? Because obviously, what we have been doing, how we have been running things, is not working anymore. So we have to move forward in a new way. And this might, for a lot of us, be a really big time period of experimentation and just figuring out what we need to do to move forward in a new way. We might not have the answers yet, right? The North Node is on Neptune still, and the Sun is approaching it this week. So we might not have all of the answers yet. And it's like we're being breadcrumbed those answers. There's these little tastes of it coming in, and we might have been resisting it. But this is the week where it's like, oh, okay, I have to move in that new direction, right? Like I have had a friend telling me to do these types of videos for months. And while Mars was retrograde in my 10th house, and I was like, I just don't know. I like YouTube's a lot, and do I want to do that like every single week? I already do the weekly updates on my TikTok and my Instagram with my Astro board, and like I want to do it with Astroboard on YouTube, but I don't know how to do that. Like I don't know how to figure it out. And I was all up in my head about it, right? And someone commented on my TikTok when I did the weekly update today and was like, can you do these for each rising sign? Like I want to know what's going on for my rising sign this week. And I'm like, okay, here it is. Here is the, again, like the universe is telling me what to do. The universe is telling me what direction to move into, and I was resisting it. And that's why things are kind of at a standstill for me, because there are these things that are coming into my life to respond to. I'm a sacral manifesting generator. I'm here to respond to what comes in. And we're going to be receiving those answers this week, but it's like we have to be open to them. We have to just be moving with that spirit guidance, with that like intuitively led, like, oh, okay, like this is what obviously I'm being presented with to act on and to do. But we right now can have the tendency to rely on the mind about it, South Node and Virgo, and that's not what is pulling us in a new direction, right? That's not what is going to help us move into the new. That is going to keep us stuck in the old, and that's going to keep us in that place of stuckness, resistance, like all the things we don't want to feel or experience in our lives, right? Overly relying on the mind is what is going to continue to create that pattern. And so if you're feeling called to do something, like take action on it, experiment with it. Because it's being told to you, it's coming into your life for a reason. Let me open up the chat so I can just see if y'all have any questions or anything during this. So I am going to cover the general overview of the transits and then for this week, and then I will link the video in the description box of my TikTok as well that covers it in like 4 minutes with a visual. With my Astro Board videos, if you haven't seen those, I do those every Sunday. And then I just wanted to come on here and we'll see, if I feel called to continue doing these every week. It feels exciting, it feels fun right now, and so maybe I will. Of each rising sign for the week ahead, because I just want to help you understand how these transits really impact you on an individual level, and we can generalize the transits and we can say all this stuff all day. It's how it's going to affect people, but it's really going to show up for you differently based on your chart. And that's what I want to help you all understand, is that it really depends on your personal chart for how stuff is going on for you, or what's happening for you on a personal level. And these transits are going to affect everybody differently. So we're going to look at that. But basically, I mean, like I've already kind of mentioned, we have the eclipse this week on Thursday night. We have the Mercury retrograde starting 24 hours after the eclipse. The lunar eclipse will be a full moon in Virgo. I am doing a workshop for it in my membership. That will be a exclusive live stream to the membership. Um, and then we have, yeah, Mercury will station retrograde on Venus. We're gonna have a lot of stuff beginning as well. So we're gonna have a Saturn Sun conjunction, and we have the Sun starting to join the North Node and starting to join Neptune, and then we have Mars starting to square Chiron again for the third and final time. Let me share my screen here and show you all the transits. And like I said, I'll just do a quick overview of them and where the moon is as well, because that's going to be the major player of this week among the other things I just mentioned. So on Monday, we have the moon in Leo opposite Pluto. I'm going to prompt for an emotional transformation. It's also going to be harmonizing with Mercury and the Venus retrograde. So this could really bring an emotional revelation around what Venus and Mercury retrogrades. I mean, we're in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde. It hasn't really started yet, but what has been coming up in this area of your life with the Venus retrograde so far, it's going to be amplified by the Mercury retrograde, with the focus being on your mindset and your belief systems, your communication, as well as your values, your relationships, and your money, Venus and Mercury themes. So on Monday, we're going to have that harmony between the moon, Venus, and Mercury, but it's also, the moon is also going to be opposite Pluto. So there might just be like a transformative revelation that happens. That's like, oh, this is like a subtle emotional shift. It's like, oh, this, like you get clarity and you're like, oh, this is what I need to do differently, right? That's what it feels like. And like I said as well, we have the sun approaching Saturn. Um, like the sun is literally chasing Saturn. And that is calling for us to really be disciplined with how we're building the foundation of our dream life. What has been coming up for you since Saturn went into Pisces? I talked about this in the overall March update. Since Saturn went into Pisces 2 years ago, what has been coming up for you as it relates to your dream and what you're building and what you're being asked to be disciplined and committed with? And that you might have received a revelation around that in the last week of like, okay, I need to be disciplined with this. This is going to help my mental health, my physical health, and everything in between. So that's going to be Monday. Tuesday, we have the moon harmonizing with Chiron. So there's going to be a lot of emotional healing this week as well, with the moon, harmonizing with Mercury and Venus. And then the next day on Tuesday, it harmonizes with Chiron. There's just a lot of emotional healing that's coming up. And we're reframing all of the gunk, all of the negative into the positive. How can we spin things with the lens of joy and gratitude? And that's really how I see any moon in Leo transits. It's like, how can we really align with our emotional joy more so than like the human tendency to be negative and to complain? How can we reframe things to the positive? That's really all I see going on. Oh, and then the Sun Saturn conjunction starts to become exact on Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's going to be a major theme of Tuesday and Wednesday is, what are you needing to be disciplined with and committed to that is maybe something your intuition has been telling you to do and you might have been resistant to it, right? But this is going to trigger that to really be something you take seriously and commit yourself and discipline yourself to. Then on Wednesday, the moon moves into Virgo, and we have an exact aspect between Saturn and the sun, like I just talked about. Mercury just moved over Venus as well, and it's about to go retrograde in like 48 hours from Wednesday. Um, what else is going on? I really feel like those are the major players on Wednesday. Wednesday, like there's a lot going on Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and then through the weekend as well. But Wednesday kind of feels a little chill. I do feel like we will be getting kind of glimpses, foreshadowing of the eclipse on Wednesday, because that's going to happen on Thursday, late at night on Thursday, depending on where you are in the world, or early on Friday. Then on Thursday, before we have the lunar eclipse, the moon is going to square Jupiter, which will just kind of put friction between like our emotional needs to analyze and our emotional our emotional focus maybe on relying on the mind and those old tendencies of, okay, trying to practical stuff, trying to logic stuff, trying to analyze stuff, and our expansion. Like there's going to be friction and conflict between how we want to expand in our lives and maybe even in our mindsets or with our communication, and then like um our emotional need as well. Like I feel like the big theme of this full moon is realizing how we have been overly reliant on our mind. Like I was just sharing with y'all, I wanted to do something like this on YouTube, and I was like, well, I want to use my Astro board, but like, how do I do that? Like, I need to have two cameras set up and blah, blah, blah. Like, mind, like in my mind. And I'm like, I can just do this. Like, just show up and do it, and you'll figure out the rest, right? That's kind of this energy on Thursday and Friday is like, we're being really presented with how we need to stop relying on our mind and really listen to our intuition and just act on it, even if it doesn't make sense, right? The things that we're led to do that are related to our intuition and our intuitive knowing never make sense to the mind. So we're going to be faced with that stark reality of that. We're going to have stark awareness around that during this eclipse and probably leading up to it on Thursday as well. And then we have early in the morning on Friday. For me, I'm in the middle of the United States, so in my time zone, it's like 1 a.m. is when the eclipse will be. We have the full moon eclipse in Virgo. It's kind of opposite, or it is like 2 degrees away from being opposite Saturn. So again, we're going to be faced with the stark reality of how much we have been overly reliant on the mind and how we need to listen, listen to and be disciplined with connecting to our own intuition and acting on it, taking that inspired action based on our intuitive knowing as opposed to the logic of the mind. Then later on Friday, we have the moon moving into Libra. Let me bring that up here. And it will be, I believe, like late on Friday, around the same time that Mercury goes retrograde, the moon will be opposite. So I can pull that up exactly as well. Yeah, literally when Mercury stations retrograde, it'll be very close to Venus still and will be opposite the moon. So this is gonna bring up, I mean, if any of you guys will be up at this time, I think we're going to feel this on Saturday as well as the moon continues to move opposite Venus and Mercury, and then it's going to be opposite Chiron. We're going to be faced with this kind of oscillation between what Mercury and Venus retrograde are bringing up for us, the need to reevaluate our sense of self, our identity, and how that's playing out in our relationships and our self-worth and values that are all tied into that and our emotional needs for a relationship. So similar to how there is like emotional healing stuff that came up Monday and Tuesday, Saturday and Sunday could further bring that up as the moon in Libra is kind of opposing these things in Aries that have been causing that to be a major theme in our lives. But the moon in Libra will harmonize with Pluto, so we will feel this harmony between those emotional needs and making the transformation that's needed. This could be a great weekend to socialize, and I know it's the weekend before St. Patty's as well, so could be a great weekend to socialize, but that socialization might bring up stuff that we didn't expect to have to face and look at, like triggers that are just going to deepen our awareness of what needs to change in terms of our values and our self-worth, where there's still healing to be done in those areas. Okay, and that's Saturday and Sunday. So I want to get into every rising sign, but I need to seriously change the chart here. So give me a second. Okay, so for Aries risings, this week is really going to be a reevaluation depending on the degrees of your rising sign. If you have Mercury and Venus right on your rising sign, like this chart does, this is a huge, huge, huge reevaluation of your sense of self, your identity, maybe your sense of independence as well, how you're taking care of yourself, how you're presenting yourself to the world. Versus if you have a later degrees Aries, then Chiron might be on it, and the focus is going to shift a little bit. I mean, there's still going to be a focus on a reevaluation of your sense of self and identity, but with Chiron, if it's directly on your ascendant, it's going to be like, okay, what wounds do you have to heal around your sense of self, your identity, how you're presenting yourself to the world, who you are being, and how you're showcasing that to the world around you. Monday and Tuesday, there could be a big focus on your creative passions. Maybe if you want to start a social media based business or anything like that, like starting to show up on social media and really just starting to share more of your creative passions with the world. And that's probably related to these identity shifts, right? So that's going to be Monday and Tuesday for Aries risings. On Wednesday and Thursday, there could be a real big focus on like getting out of your mind when it comes to these tasks that you need to do to make that a reality, to make that creative passion work in the actual physical world. Like, how do you need to get out of your mind and just do, experiment, and know that you can always make it better as you get better at whatever this is. So that's going to be Wednesday and Thursday when the moon in Virgo is in your sixth house. And that's probably going to be a big theme of the full moon eclipse for you as well, Aries rising, is what do you want to share with the world? And how do you need to reframe your mindset around it? It might be something to do with spirituality or creativity, as you have so much in Pisces in your 12th house. What daily things do you need to be doing to build that reality from a place of like, okay, what am I sharing with the world in a big way? And how are your friends tying into that? How are your relations tying into that? Whether they're supporting you or they're not, how can you surround yourself with people who do support you? That might be a big theme of the weekend as the moon moves through your seventh house and opposite all the stuff that's in your first house. Do the people around you support this new person you're becoming and growing into? If not, you need to reevaluate that relationship. You might have to let them go, depending. Okay, then oops, I did not mean to do that. Let's do Taurus risings. Okay, so for Taurus risings, big focus the first 2 days of the week, Monday and Tuesday, on your home. There might be stuff that happens with family. There might be stuff that happens if you live with people. You might just be more feeling like a homebody and wanting to do something creative in your home, or going to a house party or something like that. Like, there's just a huge focus the first 2 days of the week on your physical living space. You might also be reevaluating ways to make money, maybe related to a spiritual passion or a creative pursuit that you have. I feel like so many of us right now in general are really being called towards creative and spiritual path and pursuit. So you might be just thinking of ways you can make money from that. And you yourself have been going through a lot of identity shifts, Taurus, with Uranus in your first house. So, how is that playing into all of these things? On Wednesday and Thursday, oops, I'm still going by the hour here. Wednesday and Thursday, the focus will be on the creative passions and ways that you're sharing them with the world, maybe on romance as well. It might be a big theme of the lunar eclipse for you if you're single, like wanting to put yourself out there to date, or if you're in a relationship, like reevaluating romance within that relationship. This could also, like I said, be a creative passion that you're feeling called to share, that you're feeling called to get really serious about presenting to the world and about sharing with the world. Something new that you've been creating, and the lunar eclipse on Thursday is really going to bring that up for you in a major way of like, okay, how can you just share it? How can you just get out of your head about it and make it an actual real thing? There's a lot going on in your 12th house as well, with the Venus and Mercury retrograde there, and Chiron has been there for many years. So, what about your subconscious has been going through a healing and shift as well? And maybe that's a part of what you're sharing. Maybe if you've been, you've lost someone dear to you and you're doing a lot of grief work, maybe creating a course around that to help others who are grieving or something like that, right? Just one example. But there's something you've been learning and healing from in your life that you might be feeling called to share with the world. Then on Friday and Saturday, also Sunday, as the moon moves through your sixth house, you'll just probably be reevaluating your daily routines, your work, your well being, maybe as well, your healthy habits, and how that plays into your physical health as well as your mental health. Maybe starting to work out again and surrounding yourself with friends who inspire that in you, or having an accountability buddy as it relates to like really just making whatever this thing is that you need to just start doing and sharing happen. So that's Taurus rising. I keep accidentally going like way too far ahead. I just did it again. Okay. Okay, Gemini rising. Big focus on you, Gemini. You may be feeling like really larger than life over the past few months, because there's just so much potential for you to really expand in your career related to this sense of self that you're building, that you're cultivating, that is maybe different than you have ever been before, or the ways that you've expressed yourself before. And this full moon eclipse is really going to bring up things for you in terms of your career and your home life, like how you're balancing those two. You might be having some much needed conversations on Monday or Tuesday around whatever your creative passion is that you're presenting in your career, that you're sharing, to really be known as this new person that's evolved, to the world, right? And you might also be changing your friend groups, or just really putting yourself within new communities to support that change, to support this change in your career, and to have a better balance, like I said, between your home and your work. That's Monday and Tuesday. Maybe, like I said, having much needed conversations, maybe brainstorming with a community or brainstorming with new friends about what you want to do or what you want to change and share in your community, to better serve them, or to just, yeah, better be aligned with what is meant for you and your career. You're really in this time phase of needing to align yourself with a new form of what you're doing for work and how you're making money. And this week is really going to bring you a lot of new ideas and maybe people to support that. Wednesday and Thursday is really going to be a focus on your home, your family, who you live with, maybe just organizing your home to feel better. Like, I need to declutter, I need to organize stuff so that, things at home aren't so chaotic, things at home aren't so crazy. That feels like a big focus of the full moon eclipse on Thursday night as well, is like, okay, what is really blown up for me right now in terms of like my roots, my foundation, my literal home that feels like it needs attention, that feels like it needs maybe a little bit of organization so that I can expand in my career and just have a better foundation on which to stand, to do the things I want to do in my career. Then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the moon is moving through your fifth house of romance, of creative passions. So, again, you might just be, now that you've decluttered or organized or whatever it is, you might feel like, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to share these new things that I've been working on, or I'm going to start taking steps towards what I was brainstorming and got ideas around earlier in the week. And like I said, I feel like Gemini, you're really bringing in new relationships and new friend groups, new community to support that in you. And that's this week for you, Gemini. So, Cancer Rising, this week starts off with a big focus on your money. How are you organizing your money? How are you bringing in money in a way that's truly aligned with your joy, that's truly aligned with your creative gifts, your spiritual gifts, your gifts of nurturance and support for others? And big, big, big reevaluations for you, Cancer. I mean, this whole month in your career. But really, Monday and Tuesday is going to be, okay, how am I bringing in money? Does it feel good to me? Does it feel aligned with my passions or not? Then on Wednesday and Thursday, as we are leading up to the lunar eclipse, going to be a big focus on your communication. Maybe just organizing emails or something. I don't know why that's coming through. Organizing some kind of technology thing as it relates to like media or communication, or if you have a social media presence, maybe organizing your content in some kind of way, so that you can really expand there and really step into this kind of new career or new role in what you're doing for work. And I think, Cancer, that's going to be a big theme of the lunar eclipse as well, is how are you communicating yourself? How are you communicating your ideas? Is it being done in a way that you fully feel aligned with, or not? And do you need to do a little bit more research in order to communicate better, or share these ideas better, or just have a more organization to your communication or your media, or maybe even your day-to-day routines and errands as well? Maybe you need to research, like, okay, what are some healthier places to go eat, or what are some healthier places to go to meet people that feel more aligned with me. So there's a lot of changes happening to your community, suddenly and unexpectedly with Uranus in your 11th house, and having this supportive place to go, or the supportive thing to do is going to help with that. So there might be something around that on Wednesday or Thursday as well. But mostly the focus is on like doing some kind of research. Then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you have the moon moving through your fourth house. So you might be adding artwork to your home. You might be beautifying your home in some ways that doesn't feel related to your career. Maybe you feel like you're avoiding some kind of change you want to do, or reevaluation in your career. But I think the things you're doing and changing about your home is going to help your career, even if it doesn't seem like it at the time. Also, don't over socialize this weekend, Cancer, because there could be some work opportunities that you miss. It could feel like um, you're sacrificing something in your career to have the social time, and just tune into, does the social time really feel aligned? Okay, so that's Cancer, and you might just say no to it altogether and stay in your house. That's what I'm getting for you, Cancer. Okay, Leo risings. Monday and Tuesday is a big focus on you, your sense of self, your identity, maybe just feeling kind of more sensitive Monday and Tuesday, maybe dealing with a lot of emotions as it relates to like your sense of self. There might be something that happens, that someone says something or someone does something that kind of like hurts you in a way that kind of like is a blow to your ego, or a blow to a wound that you've had, or a blow to your pride. Um, and again, I think I mean, not again, but this is a theme for a lot of people right now. It's really like having you reevaluate who you're hanging out with and who you're spending your time around. Because you want to have people around you that feel good, that lift you up, as opposed to bring you down. So that's Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, there's a big focus on your money. That is probably going to be what happens around the lunar eclipse for you, is like, okay, what am I doing to make money? Is it feeling good to me? There might be a new opportunity that presents itself, and you just have to ask yourself, does this feel aligned with me? Does this feel like something I'm doing because I want to, or because I think I should, or because there's outside pressure? Like, what is the reason I'm like, maybe just sit with this opportunity and really reflect on, do I want to do it because um, I truly feel good doing it, or do I want to do it because of outside influences, right? There might be something too that you're just there's a big shift around your philosophies of life, how you're viewing life around you. There's a big new beginning there, whether it's like you want to take an international travel trip to have new experiences to shift how you see life, or just you're reading new books, or you're doing a lot of research on something and it's shifting how you see life. There's a lot of perspective changes happening for you, Leo rising, on an overarching theme for your life right now. But this lunar eclipse and Wednesday and Thursday is really about your money. Maybe getting more organized with your finances, maybe doing your taxes kind of thing. Um, and if there's like any fear around money or resources, just really reframing that and really looking at that for what it is, and shifting it into an abundance mindset. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the moon will be moving through your third house of where you're going on a daily basis, where you're running errands, who you're talking to, and communication as well. So there may be a focus on all of those things. And do the people you're talking to, the places you're going, do they align with these ways that your values are changing, your perspective of life is changing, or not? So there might be some emotional thing that comes up around that. There might be an emotional release that happens around that, where you really felt tied to this one place or this one person, and you realize they no longer support where you're headed. And that might prompt for a release for you, Leo rising. Okay, Virgo rising, big focus on you and your relationships. And there's going to be a lot of clarity that comes through this eclipse around that. Maybe if you're with somebody, like, okay, is this the person that you're getting married to? Is this the person that you see building a life with? If you are single as a Virgo rising, what does it really look like to you to be in a relationship? And what do you need to be doing to prioritize that? Do you need to be going to singles events or getting yourself on a dating app or talking to friends and saying, like, hey, hook me up with somebody you know that would be good for me? Like, really being disciplined and committed to your path of having a relationship if it's something you want, Virgo rising. That's a theme of the full moon eclipse, but not to get ahead of ourselves. Monday and Tuesday, the moon is in your 12th house. Maybe bringing up subconscious beliefs around what you get to pursue as a passion, how you get to have fun, how you see and deal with and handle stress as well. Really transforming how you've been taking care of yourself, especially with that focus on mental health Monday and Tuesday. Might be an emotional release as well that happens through that. And then, like I said, Wednesday, Thursday, the focus is really on you and your relationships. Getting out of the mind about your relationships, like really trusting that if you're with somebody you see yourself with for life, like trusting in the divine orchestration of that, the timing of that engagement, that marriage, whatever it is. And just getting a lot of clarity about that in general. Wednesday and Thursday is the big theme for you, Virgo. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the moon is moving through your second house. Um, don't avoid your taxes this weekend. You might feel called to. You might actually be avoiding your doing your taxes or dealing with money stuff by going out and socializing and maybe over socializing. So really be careful of that this weekend, Virgo rising, of being overly a social butterfly, and maybe, spending a little bit more money than you actually want to. That might be something that comes up this weekend is like, okay, am I utilizing my resources and spending time around the people that I want to, or am I doing it because I'm avoiding something? Um, big, big, big theme of the weekend for you, Virgo. Okay, Libra rising. Big focus the first 2 days of the week on your friends. Do you have the people around you that you want to? Maybe you're spending time with friends, you're socializing the first 2 days of the week, and you're feeling really inspired from that. You're feeling really good about that. Um, could also be things coming up, emotional healing coming up around wanting a partnership or your partnership in general. If you are in a relationship, if you're single, then maybe just reevaluating like what you want in a partnership and how to go about having it, and really just coming at it from a place of joy and fun as opposed to like complaining or negativity or anything like that, right? This is all about reframing. These first 2 days of the week are all about reframing. Um, anything that shows up as negative originally into a positive. And then I feel like the full moon for you, Libra rising, is really going to illuminate how you need to take better care of your mental and physical health. Maybe being really getting back on your spiritual practices that ground you or your nutrition, working out again, like really big focus on balancing your mental, spiritual, physical, emotional health. Just big focus in general of this full moon on your health in all aspects, especially what you're doing for work and whether or not you have healthy boundaries around your work on a daily basis. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, Libra rising, then do you really have the structures and systems in place to have those boundaries? Like, okay, this is work time, this is me time. I don't work past this hour, I don't work before this hour. Having those kind of structures in place maybe will help you take better care of your overall health. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the moon is moving through your first house. Really big focus on you, maybe wanting to put more effort in your appearance, putting yourself around people that make you feel good, that kind of are fun for you. This could be, it might feel like you're forsaking your relationships this weekend to focus on you, but it's going to balance itself out, right? And it's all about, like I've been saying, kind of for everybody, is having those people around you that understand your needs and that also support your needs and understand you and support you in the changes you've been making to yourself in your life. And maybe those relationships themselves have been changing, or the people you are hanging around have been changing. And so this weekend, Libra Rising, you might be putting yourself around new people or putting yourself in different kind of situations, that feel more supportive of you and that feel more fun and playful than you have been used to. So that feels like your weekend, Libra Rising. It kind of feels like a fun weekend for the Libra Risings after a maybe um, lunar eclipse that is intense and brings up a lot. Okay, for Scorpio Risings, big focus on Monday and Tuesday on your career. Are you doing things that align with your passions? Are you doing something in your career for your reputation that feels like fun, that feels good to you? Or does it feel like a drain? Does it feel like something you're forcing yourself to do because you think that you should? Monday and Tuesday is going to bring that to light for you, and it's going to have you really reevaluating that and doing things from a place of joy and true passion, as opposed to a should kind of mentality. Then with the full moon eclipse, and really Wednesday, Thursday, as the moon moves through your 11th house and opposite everything that's in Pisces right now, going to be a big focus on your community, the people you have around you, maybe how you're showing up on social media. If you have been wanting to share something on social media, like a creative passion or a spiritual pursuit, like you need to start doing that. You need to start doing that. Scorpio rising, you're here to be known as the occult, as the taboo. So it's time to start that thing. It's time to get out of the mind and just do it and experiment with it. And I think that's what the full moon lunar eclipse is really going to bring up for you in a big way. And then you also got the Venus Mercury retrograde happening in your sixth house of day-to-day work, what you're doing on a daily basis that contributes to your reputation and creates your career. All right. Also on your physical health and well-being, I think that'll be a theme of the weekend for you, Scorpio rising, as the moon moves through your 12th house. There might be subconscious things that come to light that you're like, okay, I can't ignore this limiting belief anymore. I can't ignore this thing that I need to look at and heal anymore. I can't just throw myself into work. I can't just throw myself into nutrition, wellness, workout plan. I have to really deal with the underlying shadow of what's here as well, especially as it relates to like your relationships and the people that are around you and your community. And maybe sharing this thing with the world is going to create a new community for you that feels more supportive and like supports the healed version of you versus the wounded version of you. That feels huge, Scorpio. So that's your week ahead. I'm so excited for everybody this week. Y'all have to come back and let me know how everything goes. Okay, who's next? Sag. Go backwards a little bit for Sag. Okay, so Sagittarius rising Monday and Tuesday is a big focus on your belief systems. Oh my God, your philosophies of life, your perspective, how you're seeing the world. Maybe there's something you're going to deep dive into and research about changing your belief system around something or your mindset around something because you really want to see something differently. You really want to have a better way of communicating your thoughts or getting your work out into the world. That's Monday and Tuesday. It's something that there's an emotional drive around, something that might emotionally heal you as well. And then the when the moon moves into your 10th house on Wednesday, that's gonna start this big focus of like, okay, how is that belief system that I have playing out in my career? How am I overly relying on my mind to analyze when I need to be relying on like my heart and my intuition to move me and to create the legacy that I want to be known for in my career, right? There might be something too that you're reevaluating, Sag, rising around your home, how you're living, maybe starting to become more of a digital nomad or just like simplifying your home life so that you can have just less attachment to things. You might be decluttering or something like that. Might show up in your career as well. It's just organizing stuff differently and what you're doing for work or how you're showing up for work on a daily basis. So that feels like the big theme of the full moon lunar eclipse for you, Sag, is what am I doing in my career and how is my home playing into that? Like, do I feel most inspired when I travel? Do I feel most inspired when I go for a walk or when I organize or clean my house, right? It's like you're getting more clarity on what really inspires your creative passions and how that directly relates to your career. And then as the moon moves through your 11th house on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there might be a big reevaluation of, that as well, but more with a focus on, okay, how am I showing up in my community? Am I doing it in the ways that I want to? There might also be a tendency to over socialize this weekend as well, or just, call too many people, talk to too many people, or it's like really the work, the pull for the weekend is like, okay, what are you expressing creatively? What are you creating right now that you want to share with the world? That's a true passion that you have. Don't distract yourself with like overly socializing, but that could just happen because the moon is opposite all this stuff that's in your fifth house. There might be some healing that comes up from that too. Like someone posts a negative comment on one of your social media things and it brings up a wound you didn't know was there, and you really look at it and reframe it so that if it happens again, it doesn't affect you the same way. And then that's gonna directly affect how you're sharing your creative passions with the world. Because if we're fearful of what people will say about us, we're not going to share as much, right? So doing that inner healing work is going to help you feel more comfortable sharing yourself with the world and putting your gifts out there. So that's what's coming up for you this week, Sag. Next, we have Capricorn. So Monday and Tuesday, Capricorn is a big focus on your eighth house, maybe doing your taxes, um, transforming money in some way, your relationship to money, getting more organized with money. There might be just some resources that come in that you're like, oh, this is what I've been wanting to do with it. Um, there's just a huge focus on your, other people's resources, taxes, debt, investments, and which one, what is priority that feels joyous, that feels like, okay, also I need to get this out of the way, but it's going to feel like a huge emotional relief to get out of the way. And it might not be super fun, but allowing me or doing it is going to allow me to have more fun and feel more free. Like nobody loves to do their taxes, I don't think, but it does, when you're done with it, feel like such a relief, and a freeing moment that allows you to really just move on. So that's what Monday and Tuesday may feel like for you, Capricorn Rising, is you're just taking care of a responsibility in your finances. That's going to feel good. Um, might be something coming up in your home around that, like needing to contact your landlord to deal with something, or needing to hire somebody to deal with something in your home, something like that as well. Wednesday and Thursday, we have the moon moving through your ninth house. So there's a huge focus on your belief systems, especially with this lunar eclipse. It's going to bring up your communication style, how you're expressing your creative gifts or your spiritual passions with the world, the way that you're communicating. How are you doing it in a way that feels good? And are you going to the places you want to be going on a daily basis? Because the third house doesn't just rule our communication, it rules where we're going on a daily basis, how we're running errands and where we're running errands. So there's might be a reevaluation around that for you as well. But I think mostly it's going to be an emotional look at your belief systems and your mindset and the shifts you want to make around that to have more harmony and balance with like everything in your life. And then for the weekend, Capricorn Rising, big focus on your 10th house. Maybe like creating a lot of content if you do stuff online, or having a work party or something like that, socializing with coworkers. Like there's going to be going to a party. There's going to be a big focus on like your reputation and who you're spending time around. There might be something too that feels like you could be neglecting your home to go and do that thing. So that's going to be a focus for you, as well as how to maybe balance better your home and where you're feeling called to show up or to put your energy and your career. And that's the focus of your weekend, Capricorn Rising. Okay, Aquarius Rising. Big focus on your relationships at the start of the week. There might just be some healing conversations that you have with people in your life, whether it's a partner, whether it's just a relationship that feels really important to you in your life. There's going to be maybe an emotional look at that. so that you can really transform it, or just there might just be some ugly stuff that's brought up in your relationship that you really have to face and look at and feel in order to work through with the person, or on a personal level that shows up in the relationship as well. So that's Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, big focus on a lot of people are gonna have to be doing their taxes this week, which is kind of an intense week to be doing taxes. But Aquarius, that could show up for you this week as the moon is moving through your eighth house on Wednesday and Thursday. There's a huge, huge, huge focus with everything in Pisces in your second house on your money. So organizing that better, not avoiding it, not distracting yourself from it, not neglecting it, like really getting organized about your money, your finances, your resources, where that's going, maybe bringing in a new form of money in a way that it really just feels more aligned with you, in line with your spiritual growth and maybe your creative passions or pursuits as well. So that's Wednesday and Thursday. And then, and like big theme of the lunar eclipse as well, is your money. Saturday and Sunday, the moon moves through your ninth house, so there might just be a reevaluation of your communication, maybe related to the what came up on Monday and Tuesday. This weekend may bring up a lot around your belief systems and how that plays into your communication style. Maybe you're going to be spending some time researching better ways to communicate, or how to shift your mindset around things, listening to inspirational podcasts, or just kind of how do I say that? Like putting your energy and your focus into researching something related to a new philosophy or a belief system, or like I said, just listening to like inspirational podcasts that are related to what came up for you Monday and Tuesday. Like if you want to have better communication in your relationship, like looking at a YouTube video or podcast for that, or whatever it is, like there's going to be something that you research to have, yeah, to help you heal in your relationships and whatever wound has been kind of like resurfacing for you around this time. Lori says Aquarius Rising, have a job interview on Monday. Ooh, exciting. That's perfect timing. Okay, now we get into Pisces Rising. Last but not least, Monday and Tuesday Pisces is going to be a focus on your health, your day-to-day routine, maybe also how you're having a balance between your health and your work. With the moon opposite Pluto in your 12th house, it's like, okay, what have you maybe been distracting yourself from actually looking at that you need to really put as a priority of healing for you? Maybe it's a nutrition plan or a workout plan, or hiring a therapist or doing a past life regression session, whatever it is. There's something that you can't ignore as it relates to like your mental and physical health and how to balance that better. Then Wednesday and Thursday, big focus on your relationships. You might be releasing a lot of connections that just feel like they bring out old versions of yourself. That might be the big theme of the lunar eclipse as well, is like realizing like, oh, I thought I was going to be friends with this person forever, and actually I don't think that's what's best for me, and I don't think that's what's best for them. So there's maybe like a big release happening in your friendships or your relationships in general. Or if it's not showing up in your physical relationships, it could be showing up in the way that you're viewing your relationships, how your mindset is playing in to the way that you view the people that are around you. It's going to be a big theme of the lunar eclipse for you. Pisces is, okay, what new identity have I stepped into? How have I like really matured and grown as a person? And do these people around me support that? Or how I'm treating these people, does it support that? Does that make sense? Then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as the moon moves through your eighth house, you might also be doing taxes, Pisces. You might just be getting more organized with money, reevaluating how you're making it, where it's coming from, what you're doing with it, whether you're investing some of it, whether you're paying off debt with some of it, and whether you're, paying taxes with some of it, or putting, just being more organized with taxes, maybe, or just being more organized with money in general, because it's been a big theme of your life for the past 5 years. And this week is really gonna, and these retrogrades in your second house are bringing that up for you. It's like, how am I really focused on making this area of my life better? How can I have a better relationship with money? How can I bring it in a way that's more aligned with me, um, and more aligned with my vision and my goal and my creative passions and my sense of self that's changed and my evolution, my growth, like everything is really about you, Pisces, and everything else in your life needs to line up to match that, how you've grown and how you've changed. So yeah, that's what's showing up for you, Pisces, this weekend, especially. And yeah, that's all 12 zodiac signs. So if you missed your rising sign, the recording will be posted after I end the live. So go back and watch your rising sign. I'll try to add the timestamps as soon as possible as well. So y'all can just click for that for your rising sign. But yeah, let me know if this resonated with you, if you watched it and you got to see your rising sign. If there's good feedback, I might do it every week. So I'm an Aquarius rising. Kiana, do I have luck this week about money? Depends on what's going on in your personal chart. And whatever I said for Aquarius rising is going to be a general overview of what's showing up for you this week as well. But a lot of that does depend on what else is going on in your personal chart, which I teach you how to read in my courses. So if you want to be able to understand that stuff based on your chart, that's where you can learn that. And it goes off your rising sign. So go off your rising sign, not your sun sign. Because the rising sign horoscope is going to be the most accurate. So that's what I have for you all. I hope you have a wonderful week. Happy full moon eclipse. And I'll see you next time. Bye.